ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਅੰਕਿਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਅਤੇ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਲਾਈਫ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜੀਵਨ ਜਾਚ ਕੀ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਨੇ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਇਹੀ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਸਕੀਏ ਬਾਣੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਵੀਂ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਇਸ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਕਾਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਦਾਇਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੀ ਸਮਾਜ ਤੱਕ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਅਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਹੀ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾ ਸਕਦੇ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹਰਬੰਸ ਸਿੰਘ ਖੰਡੋਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਆਓ ਵਾਪਸ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਵੀਂ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਏ ਅਤੇ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ ਕਿ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਵਾਟ ਡਿਡ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਾਂਟ ਅਸ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਐਂਡ ਹਾਊ ਟੂ ਬਿਕਮ ਅ ਬੈਟਰ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਬੀਇੰਗ। So from today onwards, we are starting this series, and we are proud to have Sardar Harbans Singh Khandola with us, who will be talking in English and telling us that what Guru Nanak Sahib conceptualized and what is his basic idea which we can learn from the Japji Sahib. Let's welcome Sardar Harbans Singh Khandola, and let's start off on this progress of our spiritual elevation. Ji Anu ji, Vaheguru ji ka khalsa.
Vaheguru ji ka khalsa,
Vaheguru ji ki fateh. First of all, thank you very much because you have worked about 3 months on this particular project, whereby you researched a lot. So we would like to know that what was the base and what prompted you to think in those grounds that we ought to have this translation in English?
I think that's a good question. Harpreet ji, there are 2 reasons, Jerry, we are starting this series.
Ji.
Number 1 reason is that the English translation which we see of Gurbani does not convey the message of Guru Sahib, what we wanted to say to us.
So it's basically the literal meaning, what you said.
Literal meaning.
Okay.
Second part, I believe, Harpreet ji, the life problems of young adults are facing today, I believe very strongly, is lack of spiritual direction.
Right.
Okay. Let us talk about the first part, as you mentioned, why we started the English translation.
Ji.
I have read about 4 or 5 English translations of different authors.
Okay.
And you see on Gurdwara screen the Sikhi to the Max.
Yeah.
That's the translations, we see that there.
Ji.
Those translations, Harpreet ji, are the literal translations.
No doubt.
ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਅੱਖਰੀ ਅਰਥ, ਜਿਵੇਂ for example, ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨ. Charan means feet.
Feet. And
Translate has been done as feet of the Guru.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this message, when we do the literal translation, the message of Guru is lost.
Ji.
In fact, it conveys the wrong message. Now, here we have tried to find out what is really the message for our daily life in here. Actually, Dean outside just asked me, okay, different people translate then in a different way.
Ji.
Well, that's okay. But I want to see what we want to say to the young people. Listen to this. What we are talking about, is that relevant to your daily life?
Very true.
Okay. Does it help you to become a good human being?
Ji.
Does it awaken you spiritually?
Right.
And does it help you to live in a peace and harmonious way?
Right.
So those are the criteria. We don't want to go out of the basic philosophy of Sri Guru Granth Sahib.
Right. No, you're very true. What happens is many times when we translate the meaning of the Shabad, what we listen in this program, very rightly, when we take the message in English, it's basically the literal meaning of what that Shabad is conveying. But that cannot be translated.
Different people can translate in a different way.
Right.
But those criteria I just mentioned, it must meet those criteria. When we translate, if you see that, oh, it doesn't matter to me, what are you talking about?
Right.
We will discuss that.
Absolutely.
Now let's take a couple examples here.
Ji.
Okay. In Japji Sahib, we read that, Ikna hukmi bakshish, ik hukmi sada pawaiye. Okay. The literal translation is that some obtain gift, bakshish, gift through his order, and some through his order are even made to wander in reincarnation.
Right.
Now, this is the literal translation. Okay. Now, when we say, like, the question, when we read that translation, our young people raises the question, does God discriminate? Does God like some people and dislike others? And God is made to look like a human being.
Right.
God is formless.
Oh, yeah.
God is Shabd Guru. And when he is pleased, like the translation is here, when God is pleased, give you some kind of gift. When God is angry,
Right.
is make you wonder and suffer.
Right.
There are, in this translation for the young people, there are no spiritual message in this that is relevant to our daily
life, yeah.
And God gives some gift, some people the gift, make others the wonder.
Right.
And it gives a wrong message.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in fact, this is fundamentally against the Sikh spiritual doctrine.
Right.
Against the basics. We will discuss that
Right.
later on. That. Okay, let's talk about another example here. Veda de lende thak pahe.
Ji.
This is from apne Japji Sahib.
Ji.
When the little translation is, the giver continue giving, but the recipient grow weary of receiving.
Ji.
Okay, literal translation is Deda de, the giver gives, and lende, the recipient, thak pahe, they grow weary, thak jande ne.
Ji.
Who did not see the general philosophy of Sri Guru Granth Sahib.
Right.
When question raises, what does God give us that we get tired of receiving?
Ji.
You know, there's a God gives us Naam. God is a divine wisdom. God is a guidance for truthful living, bliss, peace, and Anand Vivek Buddha. That's the God give us. How can we get tired of receiving the divine wisdom?
Ji.
That means the little meaning does
is-
not make any sense for the young people,
Right.
and they read it and walk away.
Ji.
Meaning is wrong, and message is irrelevant for the youth. As I mentioned, they just read it and they just walk away. My daughter tried to read it and says, Dad, it doesn't
Make any
to
sense.
me."
Basically, is it relevant because it's actually contrary to what the basic concept of Guru Nanak Sahib was.
Yeah.
Whereas, while as you very rightly mentioned, that can we ever be, one of getting wisdom?
Yeah.
But whereas over here it is written something different. So absolutely, you're right that the literal meaning sometimes does not give the right connotation, and
And
we do
in
not
fact,
understand.
it gives a wrong message.
That's right.
For the young people. They
Right.
don't get the message. Now, here, first we talked about different people can interpret differently.
Ji.
But here's every message of Gurbani. This is the test,
Ji.
Harpreet ji. Relevant to our daily life.
Ji.
That's number one. Number two, the message must be universal
Right.
for everybody, not for Hindus or Sikhs, for everybody.
Right.
And does not conflict with the laws of nature.
Ji.
Okay. And fourthly, it's with any message, Gurbani is without rituals, without any miracles. Fifth, the Gurbani's message is logical, reasonable, and scientific.
Right.
And that is the purpose that we are trying to work on those. If our message does not meet these, that means we are talking out of the philosophy of Sri Guru Granth Sahib.
Right.
Okay. Now I want to mention the part two why we started this. The
Okay.
first part was the translation does not make sense to our young people.
Right.
So we will try to, get the essence of the Gurbani.
Ji.
The other message, the Gurbani is a wonderful guide for living a balanced life
Right.
and for living a peaceful, joyful, and stress-free
Life. Ji.
Yeah, our young people, I believe very strongly, has been deprived of this guidance, life experience, guidance for spirituality.
Ji.
And that's why I believe, as I mentioned, they are facing the stresses and difficulties, and they are not ready to face the outside world when they grow.
Ji.
Harpreet ji, I see that all around in the community, and people young, 25, 30, going into a lot of troubles.
Right.
Guru Sahib said that this world is a Pabsagar.
Theek.
It is a difficult ocean to swim.
Ji.
And now, are we preparing spiritually our young people to be able to swim that difficult ocean?
Right.
We are not. And that's why we see a lot of our young people going into drugs
Ji.
and divorces. Divorce is a very big problem.
Oh, yeah, it's a major issue right now. Absolutely.
And family conflicts
Ji.
as a big problem in here.
Right.
And stress, depression, and which is all of this is a very devastating for the parents.
Right.
And now that's why our young people are going away. They're not getting the message. So there is no forum where young people can ask questions and
Absolutely.
discuss.
That's
So
right.
we will make effort
Ji.
so that we can interact with them. Hopefully
Absolutely.
they will interact with us
Right.
by phone, by email, and share with us, and so that we can gain from our experiences here.
Wonderful, sir. So we'll go for a small break. As you very rightly mentioned, the idea behind starting this project. Thanks for your time, and we'll go for a short break and come back and then continue with what Guru Sahib talks to us in the Mool Mantar and further on into Japji Sahib.
Thank you.
ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਜੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁੱਖ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹਰਬੰਸ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੰਡੋਲਾ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਇਹ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਦੀ। ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਟਿਵ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਸੁਣੋਗੇ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਬਿਠਾਓ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਇਹ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਓ ਕਿ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ, ਸੋ ਉਸੀ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਆਧਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹਰਬੰਸ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੰਡੋਲਾ ਨੇ 3 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਰੇਗੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਆਉਣਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਆਨਸਰਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਫਰਦਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਵਾਪਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਆਓ ਇਸ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਆਸਰਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ।